Aphex Twin. His music is so diverse and controversial that it sparked heated debate for decades. For me, this British musician has played a huge role. Hi, it's Lester Bureau, and here is a new story. When I first saw the Windowlicker video around 2000 or 2001, my life changed completely. Those images burned into my mind, and for years afterward I kept searching for something that could recreate the same feeling in other works of art. So what's so captivating about this track and video? Let's try to figure it out. Watch till the end to see how Aphex Twin managed to diss the whole hip-hop culture and did it with love at the same time. Electronic music is full of stereotypes and canons. A lot of techno artists still aim to reach the heights of the Detroit pioneers. Trip-hop musicians chase the legacy of the Bristol sound, and house producers have been following the 80s and 90s legends for generations. But Richard D. James, better known as Aphex Twin, is a complete exception. He's a musician who expanded the boundaries of electronic music. He can be both praised and criticized, but the fact remains, by taking a little from everywhere, he built his own sound, and more than that, his own musical universe. Aphex Twin has never stayed in one genre for too long. He's always been a big fan of techno. You can hear it in his early releases under monikers like The Universal Indicator and Gag. Later, he returned to electro and acid, while in the very beginning he was immersed in ambient soundscapes. But Richard was inspired by far more than just electronic music. In the early 2000s, Aphex Twin explored serial and atonal composition, even sending his tracks to the legendary German composer Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. Stockhausen's reply was famously condescending. He said something like that: "I listen to your music very carefully, but I advise you to listen to my composition Song of the Youths. It's also electronic music." So yeah, Aphex Twin has always been open to experimentation. That's why his albums are so diverse, and why even a single track can shift styles in completely unexpected ways. Let's rewind a bit. Personality is formed in childhood, and even as a kid, Richard showed incredible talent for both music and engineering. He was born in 1971 in Ireland and grew up in Cornwall, a quiet region in southwest England, known for its Celtic roots and tin mines. From an early age, he was obsessed with sound and technology. After trying piano lessons, he quickly got bored. The instrument just couldn't express everything he heard in his head, so he decided to take it apart. Richard started buying cheap instruments and modifying them in his bedroom workshop. As a teenager, he was already a master with a soldering iron and microchips. Then came one of his biggest inspirations, a ZX Spectrum home computer. He was fascinated by the strange noises it made while loading images. Those sounds, raw, digital, unpredictable, became part of his signature. Later he brought them into his music, blending them with the atmosphere of early computer games. Acid house, drum and bass, trance and jungle were taking over radio stations, dance floors and the home collections of teenagers. But Aphex Twin was never really into dance music, even though he did perform DJ sets. Being a bit of a snob, he found the 90s electronic scene not advanced enough, even boring. Still, he liked jungle because he found it genuinely fun. In the 80s and early 90s, James released music under a range of aliases: Caustic Window, Polygon Window, and others. Techno, ambient, and the emerging IDM became his main playgrounds. He took his main pseudonym Aphex Twin from Aphex Systems Limited, a company that made sound equipment. Twin refers to his stillborn brother, also named Richard James. Aphex Twin's first full-length album was Selected Ambient Works 85-92, released by the Apollo label in 1992. Despite the word ambient in the title, the album didn't exactly follow the genre's traditions, which usually lacked a strong rhythm section. Instead, Aphex Twin created a new subgenre of ambient music, where drum machines and groove played a major role. Riding on that success, he signed with Warp Records, the label that would become his creative home for years. In 1994, James released a sequel, Selected Ambient Works Volume 2. Selected Ambient Works Volume 2 became one of the most important ambient releases of the 20th century. It absorbed everything the genre had achieved before and expanded it in new directions, from dark to light ambient, rhythmic and non-rhythmic forms alike. By the mid-90s, brands started using his music in commercials, sometimes reworking older tracks like Donkey Rhubarb. James didn't shy away from that. He used his talent to make good money and live comfortably. His 1995 album, I Care Because You Do, blended jungle with sounds closer to trip-hop and down-tempo. This eclectic record paved the way for Richard D. James' album, which he recorded entirely using Macintosh software. By 1999, Aphex Twin was already a star. MTV had become a dividing line between the old and the new. Flooded with flashy hip-hop and pop videos full of gold chains, luxury cars, and curvy models, rock music was losing its shine after the Britpop era, while electronic music was only getting stronger. The same year, Aphex Twin released Windowlicker, a track that changed electronic music forever. The video, directed by Cunningham, adds an extra layer of meaning to the title. In it, two guys drive along Los Angeles trying to pick up girls, or as the French say, faire de l'échange vitrine, literally window licking. Then they meet two women, but their awkward flirting is suddenly interrupted by a surreal scene. A half-mile-long limousine glides into frame. Richard's grinning face appears behind the tinted glass. The strangeness begins right here. First of all, it's not Richard himself in the video. It's his rubber mask, frozen into greasy green. Second, the main character suddenly starts dancing, looking like a twisted version of Singing in the Rain or maybe Michael Jackson as a sleazy pimp. Then one surreal scene follows another, women hugging Aphex Twin in a limousine, women with umbrellas performing a bizarre musical on the beach, champagne pour over plump buttocks. It's absurd, hilarious, and disturbing all at once. When Windowlicker premiered on MTV, it caused an immediate uproar. The video was accused of everything from sexism to racism. The Guardian even brought in university professors to write a serious essay about it, just to figure out all the supposed issues. Apparently, people didn't quite get the irony behind the whole thing. Because if you think of it, Windowlicker is a grotesque reflection of MTV's visual culture, a warped mirror image. It's where beautiful bodies turn into ugly monsters, a limousine stretches 10 times its normal length, and sensual dances become so sexualized that they lose all meaning. Richard D. James' face stretched into manic green pops up everywhere, like a designer logo gone wrong. This face trick wasn't new. James first used it in the 1995 video for Donkey Rhubarb, directed by David Slade. Then, in 1997, Cunningham developed the idea further in a terrifying come-to-daddy video. But it was Windowlicker where this gimmick reached its peak, a full-blown masterpiece of absurdity. Grotesque is one of the key tools in Windowlicker. The technique itself goes way back to 19th century literature. As Victor Hugo once said, art should portray not the ordinary, but the amplified, emphasizing the extremes and contrasts, good and evil, beauty and ugliness, the ridiculous and the tragic. By combining opposites, the artist expands our understanding of the world and forces us to confront uncomfortable questions. What is true beauty? What do we call ugly? And why does it repel us? Cunningham and James use exactly this approach. The Windowlicker video and track are inseparable, a single, self-contained work of art with its own structure and dramatic arc. It's almost like a short play or a piece of surreal theater. The track unfolds in 4 parts: an explosive opening, a slow and sensual middle section, a dynamic third act, and the final that feels deliberately jarring, almost stitched onto the rest of the composition. Each musical scene flows into the next, shifting genres without losing energy. It begins with a deep, pitch-shifted vocal sample, drawn out and animalistic, like the roar of a lion. Then comes a crisp electro beat layered with chopped female vocals. In the second half, male and female voices merge into an eerie duet of moans and sighs. It's all an intentional makery, a parody of glossy R&B and sugar-sweet pop music at the turn of the millennium. In this sense, Aphex Twin stands right alongside the great masters of the grotesque: Hugo, Rabelais, Gogol, Hoffman. The third part of the track lines up with the beach scene in the video. The rhythm picks up speed and the strange, almost alien phrase appears: J'aime faire du croquet aux chiens. It translates to something like "I love making croquettes for dogs." It's nonsense, but perfectly in tune with Aphex Twin's twisted sense of humor. Then comes the final part, sudden, chaotic and jarring. Distortion builds up, drum machines pound through the noise, and finally the whole thing melts down into gurgling, bubbling sounds. Paired with the video, these sounds feel, let's say, suggestive. The final image shows champagne bursting from a bottle and splashing over women's bodies, and then everything collapses into a faint electronic squeak. It reminds me of the orgasmic sounds of the famous song Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. In just 6 minutes, Aphex Twin manages to parody nearly every major style of the time: pop, hip-hop, R&B and electro, all while somehow showing affection for them. It's satire done with love. Cunningham's Windowlicker video became the ultimate standard of irony. His collaboration with Aphex Twin was one of those rare moments when two geniuses found each other at the perfect time. At the start of his career, Cunningham worked in film and magazine design. He even did design for Alien 3. Later, when he joined Warp Records, he began directing videos for experimental electronic artists like Autocore and Square Pusher. His first project with Aphex Twin was Come to Daddy, a nightmarish clip that terrified an entire generation. One day, while watching MTV, Cunningham saw a show called Party Zone. Then, among rappers and shiny cars, was this pale, long-haired guy, Richard James, looking completely out of place. That surreal contrast sparked an idea. The next Aphex Twin video had to be shot exactly like a hip-hop clip, and had to be filmed in Los Angeles. Cunningham later described Windowlicker as sunny and summery, with a pornographic second half. That's how the idea of all those exaggerated female bodies came to life, and he didn't hold back. The video was filmed on the bright streets of LA, East 1st Street in Little Tokyo, Beverly Boulevard, and the beach in Venice. Cunningham wanted the first half to feel like a dreamy road trip at golden hour, so he filmed right before sunset, using sunlight flares to heighten the hazy summer vibe. The crew used Panavision cameras to achieve that cinematic quality. Paul Thomas Anderson used the same equipment to shoot one bottle after another. The now legendary dance sequence was choreographed by Vincent Patterson, the same man who worked with Michael Jackson on Thriller. The dancer was Brian Friedman, who later went on to choreograph for Britney Spears, Cher and Beyoncé. In the video, Friedman becomes Aphex Twin's alter ego, twisting and moving like a possessed cartoon character, and whoever meets him in the clip, one by one, starts to wear that same grotesque grin. By the way, all those creepy masks were handmade, no CGI involved. As for that terrifying smirk, it's Aphex Twin's answer to the world of glossy perfection, a distorted mirror held up to the polished, fake smiles on magazine covers. This mask, molded from Richard's own face, becomes more than just a prop. It's a kind of stamp, a brand that multiplies across every character in the video, both disfiguring and parodying them. The most striking example is that beach scene. The beauty spotted by two friends turns out, when she faces the camera, to wear the same grotesque grin. These masks even echo traditional African masks, creating an eerie contrast with the hip-hop and black cultural aesthetics the video plays with. And that contrast brings to mind philosopher Walter Benjamin's famous essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. Benjamin asks, what happens to a painting once it's been printed hundreds or thousands of times? Does it lose its aura, its originality, its artistic soul? In Windowlicker, Aphex Twin's face becomes exactly that, a brand, a trademark, a mass-reproduced image that both mocks and embraces fame itself. After all, artists have always traded their art, and in today's world, where people literally sell their lives online, James' self-caricature feels oddly prophetic. Can Windowlicker be considered a social commentary? Only to a degree. What really stands out is a full 10-minute cut of the video. The first 4 minutes are just a barrage of swearing and street talk about picking up girls, but neither Cunningham nor Aphex Twin were out to ridicule anyone or moralize. Their goal was to capture that raw, chaotic reality, so that later they could twist it into something surreal and absurd. Cunningham even joked that he failed to make a proper hip-hop video, that all he got was just a cheap parody of one, but maybe that was the whole point. Windowlicker unfolds like a musical collage. The melody shifts, the tempo rises and falls. With the single, Aphex Twin essentially closed the chapter on 90s electronic music and symbolically on an entire century of pop culture, when Warhol printed the same faces and people learned how to sell their artistic image. While other producers chase the canon trying to perfect it, James smashes it to pieces and builds something new on its ruins. That's why every time someone asks me about my favorite artists, one name comes to mind faster than any other: Aphex Twin. The Windowlicker single, which by the way also includes 2 more incredible tracks, is a perfect entry point into Aphex Twin's discography. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Lester Bureau. See you next time.